bom dia na oitor. Amita Byron e bombili na Stima y Autista. Un programa di Fundación Autismo Aruba na Cool FM 98.9 cubriendo varios tópicos de espectro de autismo y también para fuera de espectro. Con diferentes invitados y también noticias del top 3 and more. Creando más visibilidad, concientización e inclusión a nivel local e internacional. ¿Vos no te plan? Láganos comenzar. Antes vos no te quieres que nos nota 15 autista, pero un día más. Nós temos para a última edição de Stima y Autista para 2024. Nós queremos dar um bom dia e bom dia no programa de Fundação Autismo Aruba através de Cool FM 98.9 com a meta para conscientizar e educar as comunidades com o tópico da TV de espectro e quizás para forte e espectro. A nosso único programa que nós está em vivo através de Cool FM de empate ainda sobre a nossa reta final de 2024. E se seguramente com seguro, se informar com a frente de New Year's Prep para 2024, preparamos para tour sobre nossa coisa para estar hobby bom de a vender em 2025. A meta para e essa que está notícia está aqui para estar junto com nós a vender o programa de AUE, do qual a já sabe, o último já sabe de año 28 de dezembro de 2024. Nós temos full house de estúdio de Cool FM. Se você mirar o nosso audiovisual, nós queremos recomendar a todo o tour. Nós temos 4 guests de estúdio de Cool FM. E nós temos junto com nós, members de Fundação Autismo de Team New York. Está com nosso recap aqui do programa. Está 2024 recap. Lo que a Fundação Autismo ahasi de transcurso de 2024. Que nos logra, que nos atender evento, etc, etc. Pensando em a edição especial de Stima y Autista 2024 Year End Recap. Dus agora aqui, me também vai mais para nós for introduzir nos guests não bem mais os links. Nós temos a embaixadora Kay Quandas.
Hi.
Kay, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, for those who don't know me, my name is Kay Condas. I am an ambassador for Fundación Autismo, Byron's colleague. And this year we went to New York, and I think that's one thing we're going to talk about today.
Indeed. Well, there's more than New York.
Yes.
There's more than New York. Mi banda links más atrás, nos temos Stephany Cruz, board member e one half the autism duo, the support group que ahasi na October, November e December. Stephany.
Hi everybody, good morning.
Puedo introduzir mais?
Byron acaba de introduce me, pero si mi nombre es Stephany Cruz, você me conhece, I'm a board member de Fundación Autismo and a mom. And today we're going to be talking about New York. The Sustaining Mayor that we are really, really proud of. And I'm really excited for this episode.
Yes.
Nós está hoping que nós tem Stephany den studio seguro para o capítulo especial de Stima y Autista. Na mi banda Rex, me tem a presidente da Fundação Autismo, Carolina Tiespan. Carolina.
Of course, Byron. Bon dia. Happy Saturday. Manera ba mencionar, awit un sábado de otro. I wasn't here earlier for my own show, but that's because I am here for your show.
Sí.
Indeed, mita presidente de Fundación Autismo Aruba. Mi nombre es Carolina Tiespan. Manera ba sa sabay papia, un tiki ding papia English awit, so everybody feels comfortable. Pero may kuturkos mi karabisa Byron ko high five and kudos to you. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Vida contento con nós por seguir hasi episodes de Stima y Autista para conscientizar e seguir papel de tópico ng hopi importante. Doko awi nos mo papel un tiki di eigenlijk kung aya ake si teroy totong aya na banda sowieso historical so nos papel de New York. Pero ko hopi otro developments tambe na nivel nacional kumita quiere reportar hopi hen nota bawas di nang of nos ako nos trabajando riba nang, so definitely excited to talk about that. And yes, I am looking forward to today's conversation. Thank you, Byron.
Thank you, Carolina. Anto banda di Carolina meeting mi mama Raquel, because the other half the parent support group. Raquel, para reintroducir Bomes.
Sigur. Bon dia, Byron. Thank you for the invitation.
Dank je.
Nice to be again with this team. I was missing this team.
Yes.
And let me introduce me, Miss Raquel, Mama di Byron, personal assistant di Byron, driver di Byron, and etc. di Byron. Itambe, advocate mom, and all of the above.
Yeah, all of the above.
Mi diz que era bisa, riba e boto dita Byron so long list of things. Me recently update me resume, and it now says driver as well. I think the word was chauffeur. Yeah. I was introduced as chauffeur not too long ago. So I mean, it's like I'll wear all the hats that you give me, Byron.
Ja, dapat. Bueno, quero avisar que nós temos pouco problema de live stream. Nós quero avisar dia mais bom dia para o Stima y Autista. Edição especial de recap de 2024. Nosso único programa de on-air de Mainta na Cool FM. Agora nós temos 4 guests. Nós acabamos de introduzir a guest dia mais. E nós quero avisar você que nós não temos top 3 more. Toco nós temos hobby, conversação, highlights de 2024 com a Fundação Autismo. Sim. Nós temos que exclude top 3 more para nós poder preparar para outra área de temporada de lustro. De 5 temporadas de Stima y Autista e de 20 anos de Fundação Autismo Aruba, nós vamos divulgar mais lá dentro do programa.
Yes.
So, 2024 dapat um ano histórico para a Fundação Autismo Aruba, de qual nós vamos atender congresso, conferência, fórum, call to action de UN, etc. Nós temos um programa especial de Stima y Autista, nós vamos divulgar riba kiko nós hasi de ano 2024 e kiko nós espera de temporada de 2025 para diante. Nós temos 24 minutos passados de 10 aqui na Aruba, no estúdio de Cool FM. Nós queremos ver um bom menino que está mirando-nos via Facebook de Cool FM, YouTube de Cool FM, YouTube de Fundação Autismo Aruba. Como também estão mirando-nos via Facebook de Fundação, via Cool FM su live stream. E estão mirando-nos na Aruba, escuchando-nos na Aruba e Bonaire via 98.9. Se você quer mandar saludos, por hacer mi zona 5946757 assim não possam por contato de saludos e para WhatsApp de Cool FM. Primeiro que nós começar com dia highlights começando por chronological order. Vamos começar de shout out na minha abuela que está sintonizando na casa, na Aldrich Maduro, gym instructor de ATP Gym, que basicamente me afirma recommitment para me por keep track of goals then physical health, mental health, especial na team de respaldo, também na Stella, minha psicóloga, e também me quero visitar também na basically minha prima, portanto escutando minha agora aqui, Raylene, right? Raylene está junto com nós também escutando o programa de Stima y Autista. Desculpa você não que me não pode recordar aqui como para shout out, pero let me know no WhatsApp de 5946757. Alright, nós temos 27 passar de 10, nós vamos começar com o programa de AWE, nós vamos recap que nós hasi de 2024. So, primeiro vamos começar com o early start de 2024, 4 de janeiro e fevereiro. Fundação Autismo Aruba a atender program de mentoring e disadvantaged youth na Malta. E que essa Carolina vai contar experiência de que passa na Malta de mentoring disadvantaged youth. Carolina, could you go ahead?
Yes, of course, Byron. Mira quiere ko hope ko sa pasa din ay akin to ting ora mita kasi lubida que cultura pasa pero ay aqui en rata começar com very good experience ding mentoring disadvantaged youth program in Malta. Why? So, only a major nós payaman ang stakeholders ng Fundasyong Autismo ta teachers, ku obviously tataraha ku all kinds of youth, including disadvantaged youth. So often ora nos pensa di disadvantaged youth, nos tintindihan si pa pensa por ta youth ku ta ding un socio-economic situation ku tiki hard. But it doesn't always have to be that. Disadvantaged youth could also be youth who have a disability, who have a learning disorder. And for us to be better partners to these stakeholders, we need to understand the challenges that teachers, but anybody who works with the youth could face when they are dealing with youth who do not have what is considered, a normative upbringing. So this course really helped me and everybody who attended, of course, understand a lot of things that come into play, including when we talk about stuff like transference and counter-transference. Is really what stuck to me during this process and something that I now talk a lot about with teachers, and it's that teachers and anybody who works with the youth or with people in general are humans. So that means that they might be triggered by things that they hear and they say. And when we talk about autistic youth, we know a lot of times it comes with communication issues, and that might mean in some cases that it's unfiltered communication that does not necessarily follow social norms and cues. And that might trigger somebody. And it's very important for the people who are working with these youth to understand that it is okay to feel triggered, but that you also need to be able to identify that trigger and make sure that in that moment, if that trigger reminds you, of a parent, of a past student, of whatever, that it is not that. And how do you deal with that? So it was a really nice learning experience that really helped us better tailor our workshops and our educational material to include this, especially since we started teaching or doing more workshops to secondary education teachers, which is a very important group. Education becomes a little bit more fragmented at this time, which is scary for autistic students. And we were really able to touch on that and to honor teachers as humans who have feelings, who get triggered, but also by giving them tools on how to work with that. So very nice experience indeed. Yeah.
Not only that, the Mentoring Disadvantaged Youth program started for Fundación Autismo in January. It was a process to get to submission to that conference, to that program. It was funded by the European Union.
Yes.
Most of the costs they were covered by EU.
Yes.
So that is an advantage for Fundación Autismo.
Shout out to the Erasmus Plus program. We are looking forward to more partnerships in the future. Our partnership with them started because of Kay, where we advocated for Kay to participate in volunteer opportunities abroad. And at that time, we had our volunteer psychologist, shout out Alicia, that also participated in one of these activities. So I do look forward, and I do hope that more organizations on the island also take advantage of these opportunities, because you learn so much and you learn from perspectives that are so foreign to us, that we miss out on sometimes because we live on an island, but so important to hear, and that it really allows us to get out of our bubble and realize that the world is a little bigger, and issues, even though the world is a little bigger, are very common, but the way that we go about them and how we find solutions can be so different, and motivating and inspiring. So yeah, shout out to Erasmus Plus.
Yeah, big shout out to Erasmus Plus and the team at the European Union for helping Fundación Autismo to get to Malta and the mentoring youth, disadvantaged youth. I think it's youth power, right?
Yes, indeed. And shout out to Sede too, because they make it happen for Aruba. So shout out to them.
We can never forget Sede Aruba. Nós não queremos olvidar Sede Aruba. Nós sintonizamos em programa de Stima Autista. El siguiente biggest highlight para 2024 tabata call to action, United Nations. Pero pomeg nos vai na United Nations, nos ministera vai back na aya pasa. Mas nos meses trained preparar para nós por pai na United Nations. Pensando sa pai na Congreso de Diversity, Equity and Inclusion de ano passado. E depois atender attention for the Autism Speaks. Pega na momento aqui. E me casa turhene que é papel para UN.
Of course.
So, lagi kami kumisa di Ron Dining, ito kumisa ku Raquel. Raquel? Kika ta experience niya mas importante din a call to action ng UN.
First of all, tawa ta experience ya orma haya sa ku Byron tabay. I was like, oh my god.
I feel like I didn't give you much headspace. I was just like, by the way, Raquel, we are going to New York and Byron will be speaking at the United Nations. Can you come? Or am I traveling with him alone?
She said tawa ta first sakudi. But then the preparation was nice. Bios ng Byron su speech, kwabay door di draft, correction, say that great. Then Byron starts with a countdown, and what do we have to wear? And it's going to be cold, and I underestimated that. It was very cold.
Yes.
And it traveled to New York. I mean, the whole experience was a wow for me. And the preparation and the morning that we had to go to United Nations, that was one of the biggest highlights. I mean, no sa llego tikilat.
Bong Rubiano.
Pero nasa Trento, see, and stepping into United Nations, tabata mamaya sa airport security, and it was surreal. Tabata algo kumino anima ever pensa ko lumidrenta United Nations ko un team hope zuiver very well prepped. Yeah.
Raquel mentioned ding a capítulo de preparation by UN de Ayaki. Ku babis Raquel mentioned UN not a joke. Is it true?
Not a joke.
So, cinco wada pa a background check. Para os higher passes na. Después, para os por dentro de UN. Ita pa dat, ita man un security, super security.
Indeed.
The UN kung nos por pasa de Congreso de
Yeah, ita ta frio, no? Man, you have to take coats off, and everything had to be taken off and
actually
placed.
Actually the temporada de lente, spring, was that the jackets.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah.
Jackets, handschoen.
It was very cold. It was cold.
And we also want to look cute, so it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, are we gonna like not look fashionable, or like do we have a happy medium? We found happy medium.
Of course.
I have one picture ko mi saka di boso tour mi tawta patras di boso, and I posted the minute we walked into United Nations, and I said the team was walking in.
Yeah.
For me, said that a momento de mas proud.
Oh.
Wow.
I want to see that picture right there.
Yeah, I have it. And I posted it on that moment
Like that
on
moment, yeah.
Facebook. I'm like, the team is walking into United Nations, and
See.
that was wow.
Yeah. And mika compartita pa Stephany y Kay. Would you like guys to share your experiences? Kulo kita New York.
Of course. Oh my God, New York. Everything. I feel like everything happened so quickly. To a manera como actually direnta ding Fundación Autismo. Everything happened so fast. But just bisa Carolina, listen, I have a lot of time on my hands. I don't know who I was lying.
Exactly.
So, but I'm a mom of two. But I have a lot of time on my hands. My child is autistic, and I would really love to be a part of Fundación Autismo and to help wherever I can and learn the whatever can be for learn. And then all of a sudden, she's like, okay, we're going to the United Nations. Anto abot ta un speaker inanang. Like, you're gonna speak as a mom of an autistic individual. And the okay. Thanks for heads up. Let's do this. And then, we started prepping kinang na Ruben. And then all of a sudden, nasa na New York ka ba? Anto literally, we produced karde anoche prome ko sa United Nations. Mino para drumi.
No sé, no para drumi, pero minor details.
Remember waking you guys up.
Yeah. So, amito ako man yung panic. Amito man oh my God, may drumi, pero may tingo drumi because I need to be fit tomorrow. And I need to
We needed to start makeup at 5.
So start makeup dito rin hande kinana. Shout out na Ami, Danky, makeup artist. And I just remember like a drive by United Nations. Like no sturta ta like super panicking, but so obviously no sa talat again, no sa Rubiano. And no sa I felt all the emotions. Tinga out eh mani mita ta konsinti mani mita ba yora, mita ba hari. I'm gonna throw up. Everything. And then no siya inang, and it's not manera buta di Fundación Autismo anto para buta by skip a line to buta just by drenta. No, you have to wait in line manera to riende. Go through all the process, the security, everything, but then ora ko na sa finally drenta mita ta gewoon in awe. Like me no pora kere ko me tao ta actually ding United Nations. Like me nunca para imagine that I would ever be in United Nations, and then there we were standing in there anto ita incredible, like incredible. The momento ko nasa drenta te e momento ko nasa papia ino sa kaba anto it's just everything we brought to the table as a team. Me da kere hopi hena tata kind of shook. A little surprised in the best way.
Yeah.
Na ultimo letter, so many people approached us, papi ko no sa speech, and it was really, really beautiful and humbling, and wow.
And mentioned kuna nabisanos we were well prepared.
Yes. And we did feel like we were well prepared.
Yeah.
Ito yung momento inang Ami as a mom, masinti man niya, wow, Ami ito by papya on behalf of my kid, pero tambe man edituri mo siya ng of pusa other autistic individuals ang kuno por papya pa ng mes. And I felt so proud of that, and I felt again super humbled and grateful that I could be part of that. And di ba super thankful kumakuno sa Carolina. Money, it's crazy how it happened. Pero thanks to Carolina, she worked really hard pa mani push pa nos por United Nations. So we are very, very grateful to you and to how everything happened.
Yes. Kay?
Well, for me, it was the same experience as all of you guys, but I think my prep was a little bit different since I had to like paint 6 canvases, do a fashion item, also do 6 poems because I wanted to, you know. It was the moment when I knew that I was going to speak, I was like in shock because I can do poetry, but I cannot do speeches that well, you know. And I remember writing my speech and how full of emotion that was. I had to cry a lot of times. I had to like tell Carolina like I don't know what to do. I don't feel like I'm the same as you guys. Like I felt all the emotions that I could feel that time. And for the fact that I did it and spoke and advocated for myself, but also for others that might go through the same things that I go through, it was a humbling experience. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I'm not a greatest speaker, you know.
We know, Kay. We know.
Yeah. Maybe I should write a poem about this.
Kay, people on the street tell me that your speech was very good, well articulated.
Mm-hmm.
I got that feedback from many people on the
Thank
street.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Looks like Aruba might have heard the call to action forum throughout the month of April, and we're glad that the national TV station broadcasted the recording of that forum. So a big shout out to the national TV station, if I'm not going to mention it or not.
You can mention them, it's fine.
Of course,
They were a very nice partner throughout the process, so it's okay.
I think we mentioned to the Aruba. Thank you to the Aruba for
Yes, thank them.
helping
And
us.
they broadcasted it many times.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Yes.
indeed. On its sister channel, Nos Isla, channel 23. You know, for me, my experience at the United Nations was, for me, impactful. Why impactful? Because I had to do a tour to make a speech, connect one of the key messages from the global report, and to say it out loud when I said the phrase, discrimination is not an option. I feel when the crowd said it, it gives me an extra boost of energy to advocate for the people not only in Aruba but also for the Dutch Caribbean, the Kingdom of the Netherlands, for the whole world. It was so nice for me to experience the United Nations. We also did extracurricular activities beyond the UN, of course. But when I arrived with the whole team from JFK, it was cold because there was a winter storm torment. And actually, right now in New York, it's cold right now. I think it's about in the teens right now, in the 20s, in the high 20s, low 30s right now in Fahrenheit. So it's a bit cold right now in New York. I knew it in a snap. Right now, the New York is cold. It has feel like a winter Christmas. So
And no rain.
yeah, rain. We don't like rain. So
Sorry, I made you guys walk in the rain.
yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, pero kasi promedia ko na sa New York, no sa haya banho de agua frio.
Yes.
Hobby frio.
Turnos ka ba ng street?
Pool and bio.
That was horrible.
In my defense, the maps that bisa ka shit a minute low.
Yeah.
So besides a very, what was it, 7 degrees?
Yeah.
Nasa hayong shower. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Windstorm.
umbrellas.
The umbrella
Full
snap.
umbrellas. Yeah.
Pero Byron, can I add?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. So of course I'm so proud of every one of you for joining me in my crazies, because the way it started, we were at a meeting the year before in New York about the global report. So it was in final drafts, and they kind of they go over the key messages and the findings, and as a partner organization, they kind of go over as to what it means for our country. And I met these super nice people from the Philippines during
Yes.
this. And if y'all know me a little by now, I will strike up a conversation with a rock if I have to. So I had no problems striking up conversations. And we were talking about art specifically. And, I was with Rulin. Rulin mentioned that we also have an artist as an ambassador. And then Erlinda said, "What are you guys doing for April next year?" And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, we usually do this and that. We're probably, and she's like, "Do you want to come?" And I'm like, "Where?" Like, to New York? Like, I don't understand her question. She's like, "Yeah, we can go speak at the United Nations." And I was like, is this a joke? I don't really understand what's happening, right? But in that moment, Rulina and I were like, yeah, we could. Like, just let us know about it. And indeed, a couple months later, I got an email. And she said, "Carolina, you said at that meeting that you would be willing." And then she started to explain what it really takes. And I am so grateful for my impulsive brain, who kind of just went with it. Because if I knew beforehand the preparation required into doing something like this, I probably would have gotten scared and said, we can't do it by next year. Like, I would need more time. But we were in it, and there was no backing out at that point, because I gave my word, and I was like, yeah, we're cool, we could do it. But I don't think that people, we talked about the preparations, about like the speeches and stuff, but it is letting the Kingdom of the Netherlands know that you are speaking, with or without their blessing, which is a very scary thing. I think that being the president of an organization that advocates for the rights and needs of a group of people is probably one of the scariest things that I have done in my life, because I get to sit with people who are on a mission not to understand what you are trying to tell them. And it's not necessarily intentional, but it's because they are also protecting whatever they believe is correct, or whatever they are trying to protect. So having to have these sit-downs with so many people and telling them why I think that, doing this is important, why paying for this is important, because I don't know if people know, but for you to speak at the United Nations, you have to pay a lot of money. So we had to pay a lot of money to be there.
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear. It's not like they flew us out on first class or whatever.
No.
They did not. But it's a commitment that you make, and then you have to really have goals in mind, and what do you want to reach with this. So every single word that goes into these speeches was so important. I know I gave everybody deadlines, and I was a really pain in the butt for a couple of months. But it was very important because, first of all, I don't know how many times we'll get this opportunity. We were also not going on behalf of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. We were going as a foundation, and that is also very impactful because it could, upset people. So it really had to mean something, and it really had to create the right push for us to get the desired change that we wanted to see. And it worked out very well. I'm not gonna lie. Before we went, the government, called us up, and we had really nice meetings, and we talked about it. And they gave us the support to the extent that they could give us the support. The Netherlands did not show up to this meeting. That's okay too. Hopefully, we'll see them next time. But it's small wins that you get. We got the national committee. We are head of the national committee. I have to say it's an awesome group of people who are really pushing for change on a very strategic and structural level that I certainly hadn't seen in a while, not since I joined the foundation, but I have also been in the government bubble for a while. So to see this type of coming together was really nice. And it was everything from what we wore, how we looked on that day, who we chose to speak to, what events we decided to go to, that made that difference. And I am so proud that all of you decided to join me on that crazy adventure that I think has been paying off, and I think there's a lot to still come from it. And I could not imagine speaking at the United Nations before that day, but now I'm like, when can we go again?
Yeah.
Yes! I feel like we should go again and talk about other important things, and continue to create noise, because I have learned that if you want to create change, you have to make noise, and people need to feel uncomfortable. And that does that. So we did that in all the good ways. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, we're all grateful.
Yeah.
I wish we could go back to New York too.
We will. We will.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's 2025. No. Not to speak in any case, because I haven't done any preparation, but we will.
Yeah, we will. Carolina has mentioned the National Autism Committee.
Yeah.
And we have to get to that major highlight. The government, the caretaker government, which is about to be leaving the government's office by next year, because I heard we have a new government ready. And we will explain to that in the final part of Stima Autista. But we have to get to the National Autism Committee. How did they sign it to take as a não kami spesifik na pavimento como decreto ministerial que nós temos uma comissão de autismo e nós temos uma comissão de autismo na cabeça de comissão aqui. So vamos para papel para a Comissão Nacional de Autismo com o ministro dan aí chegar a um acordo para por firma o decreto ministerial. O decreto ministerial para llegar na Comissão Nacional de Autismo nos tem que take aqui. Carolina?
Yes. Okay. Dus pahopi aan acaba eigenlijk crea a Comissão Nacional de Autismo anto den diferente ocasião dat in diferente organização na cabeça de comissão aqui. Me nota dat dus me no por speak to the specifics com coisa nga kana, pero in ieder geval uro ko miya join dat in hopi muito pa reunião ng sigi pa llegar na coisa concreto anto papiando com bestuur anterior, pero também com organização internacional que apoiamos den din nos trabalho de boga para direito não me quer importante para nota que a Fundação Autismo tem partners na diferentes países onde nossa região são importante para ter partners em região que tem situação hobby similar com nós tem partners de full Latinoamérica, Caribe e América também anto kuta mara também na organização grande maneira WHO, UNICEF e World Health Organization, right? Anto nang recomendação nang tao tata eigenlijk que se boquear para direito de grupo de pessoas bem dilante como prioridade bom mestre tem a organização que tá boga para direito nang na cabeça para que como sobra tur outra organização por tinha aqui como prioridade para ter outra lista de coisas também como prioridade, right? Dus agora que nós está preparando para essa aqui eigenlijk dat a recomendação de organização internacional para eigenlijk nos pedir para nós na cabeça na primeiro lugar, pero também ancra certo rapporto na paquico é importante. Anterior eu também mencionar o direito não humano também de grupo de pessoas que either waren marginalizados ou que não têm seu direito não. A raiz disso aqui eigenlijk nós sabemos nós vai pouco pensar aqui na United Nations para nos caso como país nós está pedindo nós país independente pero nós caiba de reino também tem certa responsabilidade na conta de país Aruba tem certa responsabilidade na conta caiba de reino também e nós mesmo make sure que nós não olvidar isso aqui não vamos pôr assim não. Anto de diferentes reuniões de preparação para essa aqui agora papel que o governo me digo que nós temos sustento imediato para essa aqui anterior agora nós está preparando para a United Nations nós temos um commitment para o governo que lo reinstituir a comissão e lo reinstituir ele com requisito não que nós pedi que para ancrar rapport não e para a Fundação Autismo e presidente seremos para a United Nations nós papel local nos papel nós sabemos Aruba antes que havia decreto ministerial de beschikking manang oficial anto nós pedimos também para pôr key partners também como stakeholders dentro da organização e assim ela vai também diferente tá que nós pedimos para diferentes ministérios não tá envolvido sobre autismo nota responsabilidade de ministério solamente é touch tour área de nos vida dus nos para nós é muito importante para nós assegurar que o ministério não que lo por possivelmente tem impacto tá envolvido para não carregar ele também which they did então assim a comissão é bem junto até nós temos por chegar na cinta com ongeveer just stakeholders que tá hopi druk e tem hopi outra responsabilidade e prioridade na mesa pero me tenho bisa que it has been a wonderful partnership nós tem hena nang que tá wak uno essa aqui tá importante pero também me tá querendo nos approach this time como fundação tá bem de caminho mais holístico mais e mais e na United Nations também nós bem na realizar com o nosso papel de advocating para pessoas não autistas nós advocating eigenlijk for more people nós papel de pessoas não com qualquer transtorno de desenvolvimento realmente tem uma opinião na Aruba que tem diferentes transtornos e não tem uma fundação que representa zij tá approach que nós take também going into United Nations pero também com nossa hinkele comissão eigenlijk com nós para bisa bosa aqui não vai beneficiar o grupo aqui só pero so many other people and their families so afinal de dia não it's not just the person it's their families com agora que nós tem major organizations na mesa que por sim tá junto e tá toma hope tempo na ganlai para underline what we think is important pero que tur gente que you know, vista mesmo caminho que it's forward and that organization is required and we organized so yeah
sí esta toma diferentes instancias para poder llegar a la Comisión Nacional de Autismo y seguro nos tiene que visitar es que ayuda forma Comisión Nacional de Autismo que tiene que ver aquí.
Por mí pues hace from top of my head shout out tanto oh my gosh pero me no te olvidar gente Pero sowieso nos quer agradecer o Ministério ng a firma sa aqui kuta o Ministério de Assunto ng Algemene Zaken minosa não para papamento.
Centro social?
No, social tambe de salubridade e educação, pero tambe de assunto na general, pa sobra ku direito de renda tá algo que touch every aspect of somebody's life. Dus met querer say sowieso tá algo hoop importante. Dus shout out by all means na nos current ainda minister-president ko echt puxa essa aqui junto com nós, because we really appreciate the effort ko tambe tuma bayando-se com o outro colega na minister nang pa hasi sa akin priority. Também é membro na di comissão ko echt putting in the work day in and day out. Nós temos membros de respaldo, sowieso de stichting junto. Nós temos kinderarts, dat forma parte dessa aqui. Nós temos Wetgele Kruis, nós temos jeugdgezondheidszorg, nós temos departamento de multi jovem, nós temos bureau multidisciplinair centrum, nós temos I don't want to forget anybody. Nós temos psicólogo ng associação de psicólogo ng privé, nós temos HAVA, dus de huisartsenvereniging de Aruba também. Dus ora como bisa, nós temos departamento de enseñanza, departamento de assunto social. Dus ora me bisa que nós temos grupo echt hopi completo trabajando riba possível solução não. Nós está echt super proud de grupo aqui e we come together bia paluna e tornando nossos casos tanta druk, pero they show up anto mita querer que essa aqui tá tipo de trabalho não que nós não tá que fruto de viaja, definitely not on social media, pero it takes work e effort pa nos hacer essa aqui, então we really are appreciative of this group, or I am at least, e mita sinti ko nang tambe tá contento.
Sim, nós estamos contentos com nós tem
From what I hear.
Sim, foi nós tem a Comissão Nacional de Autismo. E te quer de minha mente, ele vai seguir sobre mas tem de cama que nós temos governo novo.
Ai. Talaga conversação aí para outro área, Byron. Nós temos fini área, outro tipo de ambiente.
Tá verdade.
Me po um tiki arriba e pari área passar segunda 5. Byron tá outra tem presentation na Universidade de Aruba.
Segunda sete dia, provavelmente vamos escutar Byron papi.
Anto mi tawta sinta patras, anto mi tawta sinta me medi hopi hene nang key persons nang kung mi mena tawta sa mi ta sinta me medi nang anto ora nang mi tatawa na reactions ora bayro tawta doon su speech anto unin tawta de arbeidszaken tawta mi tawta sinta ku Meta Corporation su HR anto e tempo anto pa buscucha después ku e ora na começa sinta junto para começar a leina para proteger pessoas especial e tá exciting para boa canto evolution de aina anto posa para nós chegar na a outra comissão nacional ku posa para dizer mawak aina que evolution de coque anto me bisa wow we're getting there.
Yes,
we're gonna get there.
Tá bom passar segura
mas chega do na tua na resort boso Conosco que menos não só. That's not a good enough answer for me. What do you mean you don't know? We gotta know.
Seguro. Net quase 5 anos passando nós tem evento de resultado de encuesta.
Correto.
Com fundação ahasi na University of Aruba. E dapat dos speakers ng at tuwa diferente género for diferente instancias, diferente empresas ng durante Aruba di evento aqui seguro. Então tem so much fun. Pero tata prometo que a pandemia a começar.
Correcto.
Alright. Byron na hasta job offers a dia really, yeah.
As he should. As he should.
Sim, I had different job offers na siguro. But I was still studying, you know.
Yeah.
You are still
going
focus
to
on that.
Yeah, I gotta focus on my education first and then I'll go to work. Alright, nasa mastiki ko mas di nos recap di Stima Autista sin 1 minuto passar de som agora aqui. Nós vamos com o seguinte na Peru.
Ooh. We also did that. I also did that.
nós vamos contar a experiência na Lima, Peru.
Yes. Well, eigenlijk wil ik começar na Aruba. Pa sobra, nós há message riba nos social media di Fundação Autismo. We get more of these. Nós há people who come to Aruba on vacation and I guess look up organizations that touch them. And we got a message. And it literally said, "Hi, I work with XYZ organization. Do you guys have time? Can we meet?" And this was in March because it was we had days off. And I literally texted Byron and Kay and everybody. I think I texted everybody. I'm like, who's free for coffee? There's this girl and she's visiting Aruba. She only has like this morning off. I think it was or like afternoon. And Byron and Kay, of course, were like, we'll go.
Yeah.
And we went and we didn't have coffee. We ended up having a smoothie by the beach with this person. She was literally in her swimsuit.
Yes.
Shout out to Danielle.
Yes.
Who we also learned was a Disney princess, and so we were like starstruck, right? We were completely starstruck. I mean, here's a Disney princess on vacation in Aruba in her swimsuit, talking to us, interested in what our organization does, and then she tells us about an organization she works with, and that they travel around the world and kind of do a lot of interesting stuff, and she'll get us in touch.
Yeah.
Which she did, which was really nice. And then we got in touch, and I got this email that they are doing a Latin American summit on autism, and Aruba as an organization falls under, as a country, you know, we fall under the region. So I get an email and it says, you know, and Danielle messages me and she's like, "Are you gonna go?" And I'm like, "I don't think so. I mean, it's like Lima, Peru. I don't know." It's like, you know, she's like, "You should submit an abstract because," and then she also said, you know, the type of work that you guys do on this specific area, and it was like advocacy work and getting into mainstream media and how that vision kind of worked, because we talked about it, right, in our meeting. And I was like, okay, I'll submit an abstract. Because I'm impulsive at times. So I literally took a couple of hours and sat down and wrote an abstract. And I was like, I'll just submit it. Worst case scenario, I get feedback on an abstract and maybe I can resubmit it again like next year or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Then I get an email and it says, congratulations. Like weeks later. And it says, congratulations. We have chosen your abstract as one of the speakers for the summit in Lima, Peru. And I was like, oh, now I have to make travel plans. What? So then we thought about it. We spoke about it as an organization. You know, are we going to do this, yes or no? But what we did with Fundação Autismo and with Kay and Byron specifically, really creating the room to have ambassadors, to not speak for, but letting autistic people speak for themselves first. It's like, I know it's a good idea, obviously. But but I think I personally really underestimated the impact it has in our specific region, where this is still not the norm, where we are not used to lift the voices of people who we are advocating for. So then I had to do the exercise of explaining, first of all, why an organization decided to support my idea. How do you get other organizations to do this? So it's really like creating a footprint into how do you create the right space, the right conditions for families like Raquel, right, to want to support their family member into becoming the face of an organization or the face of an issue, the face of something you're advocating for. What goes into that? Because I had to speak to families, so I had to explain to parents why, if you get this opportunity, you have to be like Raquel and take Byron everywhere, and help him prepare speeches and whatever it takes, because the trade-off of that is so great, not just for Byron, not just for her as a mom, but for everybody else, right? For the whole community and the organization. It was explaining how do you get national organizations, national media companies like Cool FM to want to do a show? How do you sell that value? And it so happens to be, and I kept telling, like, when they asked me these questions and when I was writing these abstracts, I'm like, I just happen to be around so many great people who kind of just go with it, because I'm not gonna pretend like it's not that, you know. People like Alex, for example, but also when we were before here, when we were at Suppimix, the fact that there are people who think that there is value in something like this is also very important. So it's not taking those moments for granted. It's also taking that opportunity as soon as it presents itself, even though it's scary. So that whole process of explaining what we do as a foundation and how it impacts the lives of so many people was a very interesting exercise, but also feeling that we could contribute to the whole region in a way that they could also sort of use this blueprint to try to create safe spaces and public spaces for people and families to advocate for themselves and to speak from a very individual point of view, because every story is different and every situation is different. And I think that that was a very nice experience, and I am so grateful that we met that Disney princess that day, and we had a smoothie with her by the beach, because if not, we wouldn't have had that opportunity. So I think that is also, you know, a key message in this whole thing. It's when people reach out, and we're all busy and it's hard, and we're not as responsive every single time, but we have met so many great people through that process, through just being open to hearing what somebody else is doing and how they do it, and then going along with it for a little bit. Yeah.
Shout out to her right at this instant. Of course, she's in the States right now.
Yes, she is.
And we had a smoothie, of course, on a Labor Day.
It was Labor Day. Okay, it wasn't just Xochimart. I was like, I feel like I would have been busy on just Xochimart.
Yeah, of course.
But it was Labor Day. We worked on Labor Day. We worked hard. With a smoothie.
I had boba.
Yeah.
You had boba, that's right.
I want to say pabaliba a parent support session kung no sa hasi October, na November, e na December. Kasi naga microphones pa Stephany y Raquel. Stephany y Raquel, conta mo sa experience nila ba parent support sessions?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Where do we start? I guess
In New York.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, from the beginning.
Okay, so I remember back na a group ku mi abay di Fundación Autismo, kami naman ko na sa Carolina for the first time. We talked.
It was a
again.
town hall. People
Town
roasted me
hall.
for half of the time, but it's fine.
But you did amazing. And I remember going to her or a group at town hall akabang tumita pa niya, girl, you did so well. I'm so proud of you. And anyways, obviously we talked, malogra dineta de Fundación Autismo, and I told her, you know, Carolina, I have this vision and I think it's a little big for me. Pero this and that is something that I think that we need na Aruba. And I told her, I think a parent support group would be magical because wala ko ami mes ahay diagnosis di MIU. It was kind of like a shock na sentido ko, oh my gosh, like cooking mita by Papi Ekoski, like I don't have anybody to understand handedly how it is to have an autistic child. And I was like, why do we not have this na Aruba? So we talked about that, and then we went to New York, anto na New York no sabay this tata like this art session, right? Na math.
The mat.
The
Yes,
mat.
we're.
Anto, ami ko Raquel taman,
Yeah.
oh my God, like we should do this. Like we should incorporate arts and crafts, ding a parent support group. Let's just do this. So yeah, that's basically like kung een idee or a start van maninos echt go for it.
Yeah. Raquel?
Sim, a tua ideia com a start na New York. A minha by hope parent groups throughout the years na Aruba. Nanta começar com hope enthusiasm, anto depois nanta acaba pouco a pouco. Tá jammer sim. Pero ora mais a oportunidade para formar parte de grupo aqui para trás parent support group dat hoop great. hopi nervi pa sobre ora bota wak about die henen ko tawa ta começa a sign up mas oh my god. Estava ta hopi nervioso assim. Intention tawa ta from day one pa arts and crafts pertaining nos dan logra arts and crafts.
Because people want to talk.
People
Pa
have so
sobre
many
ting
questions.
Invite me next.
Yeah.
I'll do
Pa
art.
sobre ting
Yes.
asina hopi pergunta ting demand na information asina grande e for de maior nan ku eta incrível. Dus if first session a guide outro sessions dan anto met hopi agradecido pa tour en nan ku ajuda nos de sessions dan e psicoloog dan tata awesome. Sim, nós estava nervioso de primeira session, crowd grande. De Carolina disse, "Ik heb een rato só."
They roasted me again, but it's fine. It's
I
fine.
got a
But in the
session,
best way.
but
It's
it
fine.
was a lot of questions que nós não por cover em momento. Hey, thank God, Carolina estava tudo bem. Pero ja, nós usamos op index cards, want nós hebben aqui com é maior não quer então throughout esse nós começa a trabalhar guide qual resultado está hope successful
Sim.
and grateful, no? Porque tawa que maior anta chega então tudo assim, nós está pensando também, no? It's judgment free. We want to cry, if we want to laugh, you want to do anything,
Yeah.
feel free.
See, definitely.
Então.
Nós estamos super concerned, a little bit concerned
Sim.
about the first session. Nós estamos oh my gosh, we know que nós vai ora bombardear com pergunta que provavelmente nós não podemos contestar no momento aí. But we were just happy to take notes and to find a way to help all the parents ang kutaw inanang if acaba behind the diagnosis of Sibosa for years already. We knew that we could help ting una manera of otro. And to, yeah, just the último dos sessions lang, even like in last session in December, like this month, it was so beautiful, and I feel manera bosa, it is overwhelming at un point, pero overwhelming in the best way. Also, manera vooral na final di sessions, kubota pisa wow, like I thought that I couldn't do this, but then here I am today doing it and to helping people, like even if it's like un persona kubota papi kunia, mama could have been express herself, her worries, and just share her stories and everything with you. And mijn amigo papi pa mi mes permite que sowieso para aqui também that bota sali for the session feeling so overwhelmed with positive emotions. And I kind of feel all the time like llora, like at the end of the session, but like tears of joy because I'm like, I can't believe that Amico Rakita actually doing this, and we do work hard for it, and we want the parents to feel dibara like they have people to talk to, and that it is a safe space. Kumani, nobody is going to judge you, and nobody is gonna talk about your stories or things that you talk about in a session. So that's the actual emphasis riba is say like this is private, like what happens in here stays in here, guys. Like we don't play with that. And I just think it's very beautiful. And to manivorali parents ang kuta echt make an effort pa being tour luna ta gewoon wow, it's beautiful. And to they're so happy with us. Paso nang sa tambe obviously kumane nos tourting nos trabaho di nos menses sa akin nos sile vrijwillig and to with lots of love, and to we put in a lot of effort, and to it's not easy but we still try, and to they see that and they appreciate that. And wow.
Sí, wow.
Yeah.
Bota cria hopi bonds também. Com não somente maior não que tá bem, pero tem grandparents, family members, caretakers também que tá bem, então bota cria bond com não. Hopi great mess.
People really eager to
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
and grow.
E satisfaction tá com nós põe quando nós bisa terapista para pedir algo que você
Useful.
ja. En toen koop ik 13 tips dan, koop ik habri caminha para não. Mas eu me tacare para uma session na tal ting. Hope pergunta over die diagnose. Thank God Carolina tá teitas Carolina a habri caminha over die com bota chega na que caminha não botinho cara para boiera e diagnose and what happens then. Después nós hanha e die dos session ku abing ku dos psicólogo ku tava tá. Wow. And I'm really grateful kung na-donate ng time pa nos. We are echt grateful. And wish ko bosa nos posigi pursue sessions na asina ku professional ding qualquer área que nos por ajuda é maior na turene ko bem se echt.
Yeah,
Sim, é verdade.
Também como é profissional na aqui também tem não mesmo personal stories porque o autista então por open up então papi ka maior tan kwenta da tapanan dus no tapos sobot ng professional que man that you don't have feelings of immediately bosa compadil ka situation no. Anto it's beautiful ku we could have that safe space where open up and cry if we have to and laugh if we have to and yeah like as in the ultimo session I was sitting there like ako primiyora.
Yeah.
We were meditating, was it? What we were doing like breathing exercise. So I was just sitting there crying and I thought it was really relief. Yes, I want to cry. I want to let it out.
The breathing exercise ito hobi bong. Amita siya keto bay.
And also to feel tami mani no tapos sobre ano sa head of the parent support group kami kuno sa forma parte di tambe. So we sit at the table with everyone and if we need to cry we cry as well. So I think that's lovely.
See.
I am very proud of both of you, really, for doing it. Listen, literally, Raquel e Steph tatamani sim, nós precisamos ter parent support group. Me diz que ela contestar na carabia, você quer ser? Então I know that they know me by now, and when I say this, it's not because I don't want to do it, but first of all, they're parents. I think that it's more fitting, but also because I know that you are capable of doing it, and now that you've been doing it, I hope that you also feel that that the way that you contribute to this community is so nice, and that is my goal to eventually, not like peace out entirely, but. I do want to give more responsibility to other people to carry it because it's such a beautiful thing and all of you can contribute in so many ways, right? So I will continue to give you tasks. And if you come up with an idea, it's gonna be yours.
Es wird so schon tamen a High Regency Hotel bei General School Parent Support Group tamen nos sirve schon na psicolog san Antoinette di site da Ruba e também o like da parte di nostri funzionalismo. Oh my gosh, nós temos just noite socio.
Ainda não acaba?
Well,
sinti nós temos cabo, sim.
Maneira que não leva assim como cabo, nós temos que pensar com other notable achievements assim nós assim que tá fórum político de funcionalismo, fundraising dinner, para vamos jump que quando passa de 2025.
Okay. So maneira para mention, nós temos fórum político, nós temos hobby great, yay. Nós temos fundraiser dinner. Shout out to Amsterdam Manor Beach Resort, Passions on the Beach for being amazing hosts. Once again, we are looking forward. Al vaste verimita by segue into what's coming up next year. Nos fundraising dinner tabayta na April outro aya, so please stay tuned for that. Ito dinner, so ito fundraiser. Very nice, very nice. Every time it's very nice. So stay tuned for that. Stima Autista lote back. Sowieso. Una ko nos sige papi di topic ko na interesante anto mi quero extender também invitation de biyahe na tur persona ko to escucha e to follow Stima Autista to let us know what you would want us to talk about in here. Meta tá para conscientizar e educar se tem tópico que você pensa portanto importante para nós papi ribanang even se nós papi ribanang kaba pero você pensa importante para nós papi ribanang, do let us know so we can do that. A parent support group também lote back. Assim na conhecemos schedule nos lo saki nos lo announce saki January in any case about slow month, give us a chance para nós por regroup, let's put it that way. Anto pa nós por sige ko planning aqui. Na banda de me quer mencionar que nós estamos conscientes de certa coisa que acabamos durante a temporada de eleição da Fundação Autismo a reunir com o Conselho Eleitoral e nós abrir a conversação na PAUAC que possível caminha não tem para nós por sostener cambio tão positivo para o processo aqui para segurar que é processo inclusivo e que tem diferentes direitos de diferentes pessoas em mente. Shout out na nos advocacy bestie Norian.
Aha.
Ku sempre tape nos pero também sempre ta keeping an eye out for opportunities. So thank you to you. E ku join us avivitar nos eigenlijk pa eron yung aki ato sina nos por pape di topico aki. Say we will talk about it more next year as we work things out.
Yes.
Comissão Nacional lo sigue.
Yes.
Hopefully nos lo porta sacando data que nos está collecting soon. Sa que lo logro hope bonita pa Aruba, pa so nos tem falta di local data, national data. But we are working on some numbers. Ku perdona nos tambe mi hobby está eigenlijk di kiko nos papian di jero sa pape di nos mesmo situação como país. So I look forward to that.
Yes.
E of course, nós vamos começar com o nosso schedule também de nos workshops lang pa 2025. Dessa trove nós temos workshops lang pa educators lang com os biggest groups, pero nós que focus um tiki mais riba zorgsector aya aqui nós não ahasi hopi ko nang pe aya ko tabing aqui si nós que focus um tiki dus pa isso não kuta traha ding sector de cuido médico. Stay tuned, nós também tem alguma atividade pa bolso também. But follow us on social media and you'll know what we're up to.
Siga-nos via Fundação Autismo Aruba Facebook e Instagram e Riba Tour e capítulo 11 capítulo di Stima Autista di temporada 4 con il di Saki e 5 il capítulo di 3 temporada via YouTube. E queda pendiente perché Fundação Autismo vai celebrar 20 anni di essa fundação lança ufficialmente nel 2005. Está ready para nós celebrar o aniversário de jubileu de 20 anos de Fundação Autismo. Nota que nós vamos ter closing statements sobre o que nós temos em 23 minutos para sair de Zoom, mas nós queremos danke advice para você ter a Stima Autista durante a inteira 2024. Nós danke na tour e team de Cool FM, da team de Cool FM, Alex Ponson, que ajuda-nos realizar época de 4 temporada, vai para de 5 temporada, 8 anos. E seguro tem de Fundação Autismo, mas danke.
Shoutout pa Lilo também, que te ajuda com scheduling and social media.
Yes, shout out to Lilo. Seguro que está sintonizando nosso work aqui na casa, com sua family, com a Stima Autista de Aina Cool FM. Mi quero vai perto de porque Stima Autista, mi quero informar bastante turco, já não war Cool FM tem seu top 98, que 98 é a canção mais importante de 2024. Lo começamos em parte mainta e acaba até a noite, o penúltimo dia de 2024. Nós tune dia 30 de dezembro, mainta, por parte mainta, na Nova Think, na Cool FM 98.9 com o top 98. Esta é real wonderful journey para Stima Autista de temporada número 4 e nós vamos slide essa aqui off. Danke por sintonia sempre na Cool FM 98.9 e nós queremos de parte do inteiro time feliz ano 2025 na Uitora. Alright. Danke por sintonia sempre na Cool FM e nós queremos peace! Wow, essa aqui tá para hobby interessante. Me espera que possa a desfrutar de Stima Autista de Fundação Autismo Aruba, aqui na Cool FM 98.9. Se você não perde o capítulo aqui, por mire a trove na Facebook e YouTube de Cool FM 98.9 e também